Warning, this video may contain spoilers for late parts in the game. If you plan on playing this at some point, turn back now. You have been warned. Hello everyone to some more Sonic, though this time I wouldn't suggest that it's something good, sadly, as it's kind of an all-around mess, but I'll touch more on that later. I knew going in that making a Sonic month I would be running into some snags in some of the games, as I'm pretty horrible at any of the classics like I mentioned before, and while this doesn't play like the classics, I was nevertheless exceptionally horrible, but I think this does bleed into some of the gameplay decisions. Let's talk about the basics. Unlike the games before it, you play as a 2D sprite of Sonic on a 3D field. Each level is split into 3 acts, with the first 2 requiring you to destroy robots in order to get back Flickies, which I'll explain in the story section more on. There is a varying amount that you will need to find in each act as well. During these, you will find rings to pick up, as well as some items like extra rings and defense bubbles for varying purposes. You can collect little Sonic heads, usually needing to have found all the Flickies, and a spring that will send the Flickies high enough in the air to reach them. After you collect 10, you can receive an extra life, but there are items that will straight give you an extra life, though they are pretty rare. After you collect 50 rings, if you happen to find either Knuckles or Tails in an act, you can give them your rings and enter the bonus stage for a chance to win a Chaos Emerald at the end, and is the only way to fight the true final boss. The cool thing about this is that there are different versions of the level depending on what system you're playing the game on. I played on the Mega Collection, which basically emulates the original Mega Drive/Genesis game. Even in that version, depending on who you give the rings to, the special stage will have a variant for either Knuckles or Tails, but you still do basically the same thing. You just run forward, the game telling you how many rings to collect and needing to get that many before hitting a checkpoint. This game's story is directly told from the manual and was kind of wild when I first read it. Essentially, Flicky Island is a mysterious island with a legend of having precious gems, for some reason having the Chaos Emeralds. Robotnik also hears the same tale and beats Sonic there, observing the habits of the animals and finding out that the Flickies are actually from another dimension and freely travel between them using giant rings. The mad scientist creates robots to encapsulate the Flickies in an attempt to kill Sonic, so he can freely search for the Chaos Emeralds at his leisure. Sonic arrives on the island with Tails and Knuckles, going through a couple different areas fighting Robotnik at the end of each. Personally, I didn't collect all the emeralds, so I didn't get the true ending, but essentially Sonic fights Eggman one final time and prevails, though in my ending, Eggman taunts Sonic with also having one final card up his sleeve. I have less than a handful of pros from this game, and I think many share this sentiment. The art for the game is really nice, and the level designs are pretty impressive. The music in this game is still as great as always in the series, with Rusty Ruin Zone Act 1 from the Sega Saturn version even inspiring me to make a little remix, and the bosses are also kind of fun. I really have nothing to praise beyond that, sadly. The gameplay is pretty much pull your hair out bad for me, with slippery as hell controls and being a bit too redundant, bordering on boring, though the bosses are a good bit of a distraction. It's also really hard to tell where you're going to end up landing in some places, and some platforms you even end up sliding through due to weird geometry or whatever the hell grid thing is going on. I'm pretty sure I never even got past the first boss when I played as a kid. Overall, the game is just frustrating, but going into the game knowing it was going to end up this way made it a little more refreshing, but it was still not that great of an experience. Maybe the Saturn version is a little better. I knew this one was going to be on the shorter side, so I'm going to beef it up with some extra bits of information. John Sonoe made the music for the Mega Drive, and Richard Chaquez made the Saturn and PC versions. The alternate title of the game for Europe and Japan is Sonic 3D Flicky's Island. Crazily, in 2017, the original lead programmer of the Mega Drive version, Joe Burton, released an unofficial director's cut patch for the game that adds improved controls, debug mode, time attack, and supersonic. Another crazy fact is that on the Mega Drive, if you physically hit the cartridge while playing it, it would open the level select menu, and you would be congratulated for finding it. This game was also the last Sonic game to be on the Mega Drive and the first to be on the Sega Saturn. This game seems to be loosely related or even based on the game Flicky, which was originally an arcade game but had the same basic premise of leading birds to a goal. But it has technically been confirmed that these are the same birds that appear in 3D Blast, and one was even in the first Sonic game. If you go in with the mindset and expectations pretty low, you won't be overly disappointed in this game, but it's nothing amazingly even funny bad, just more on the side. They were pretty ambitious with where they wanted to go with the series, but they just didn't stick the landing well enough to make it worthwhile. Though, admiring the cool looking levels and music is always nice in a Sonic game, even if it wasn't particularly good to me. Hope you enjoyed, and see you next video.